What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Sun Life. That's a New Yorker, and that's a mini golf place. It's 96 degrees, and we're gonna go play mini golf. Maybe not. Let's take a tour of Bonita Springs, Florida. Guided by me, a local expert. Let's do it, y'all. Welcome to Bonita Springs, Florida, where you can play mini golf in 96 degree weather, or not. I tell you, I'm tempted to play mini golf. It's 96 degrees out here. What's that?
My bathing suit.
Why?
Because I'm going.
John Deere on 32s. Me and my boys about to make some deer stew. On Wednesday, you can play mini golf all day for $5. The iconic bait store here. Bonita Springs is a beach town for the most part, with beach town vibes, colorful buildings, surfboards, liquor store, everything you need for your beach vibes can be found along Bonita Beach Road, from Italian restaurants to ice cream shops. What else is good in Bonita? Guess what? You just got yourself the perfect tour guide for Bonita. Somebody who's familiar with the place. Most of the time when I do videos in places I'm not familiar with, I get stuff like, you ain't from around here, are you? You didn't even go to the real hood. Is that a squatted truck? No. By the way, this is Leone's Pizza. They're not incredible, but they are, well, kind of a local thing. There's a Bentley. That's a normal thing to see here. Is that thing squatted? Kind of, almost. Is it squatted? I'm not going to tell you Leone's Pizza is incredible, but it is kind of a local thing. I'm not going to tell you that Leone's Pizza is like this incredible thing that you have to have, because it's not. But if you're a local from Southwest Florida, you've had a lot of Leone's Pizza over the years, and it's nonetheless, well, I had it today in Naples Park, about 5 miles south of here. And again, it's not an incredible pizza, but if you're from Southwest Florida, you've had it at some point. I guess it's a local thing. You wouldn't happen to... ¿Qué le pasa a este tipo? Bro, you got a red light. Pero ¿qué le pasa a este tipo? Hacer. Bro, quítate de en medio. Que apuro tiene ese tipo, bro. No, anda apurado. No, él anda como si fuera en la calle, hacer. We might do mini golf in the evenings, but right now the thermostat's pushing 100 degrees. And when the thermostat's pushing 100 degrees, the last thing you want to do is be on a mini golf field. That's just ridiculous. And don't think it's all mini golf courses. There's also a Sneaky Pete's right here.
They good.
They'll sneak up on you. Yeah. Oh, they kind of redid that shopping plaza right there. There used to be a really good Colombian restaurant here, but they changed owners and it's never been the same. So now we're on Bonita Beach Road and US 41. This is the main intersection of this town. Guanamia still. Look at the boat, dog. Nice boat. And there it is, Bonita Beach Road, the main road that goes towards the beaches. So while Tamiami Trail and Bonita Beach Road are the major roads, Road 41 winds its way through the historic side of town, which we'll find ourselves there briefly. Traffic usually sucks along US 41. Guanamia is still thriving. In the afternoon, heading east on Bonita Beach Road, you will encounter some considerable traffic. Also heading north on 41 in the afternoon, and in the morning it's the other way around. Traffic heading south on US 41 can be quite the complication. I think traffic, especially in the winter, is one of the greatest downfalls of Bonita Springs, as well as being attacked by an iguana. There are some pockets of affordable housing here. Just kidding. We are now heading north on US 41, crossing the Imperial River. There's a lot of parks in Bonita Springs. Undoubtedly, we won't be able to see them all today, so we don't have all day, but we'll show you some of the parks and features. Hi, this is Jose DeMuro, and on this video, we're going to show you all the quirks and features of Bonita Springs, Florida. Here is a Jeep, I think, hauling a jet ski, two of them. And over here, we have a Starbucks drive-thru next to an IHOP. We're going to give Bonita Springs a hood score. There are at least 3 different Publixes in Bonita Springs. One of them is here on, what is this, Terry?
Yes, sir.
On Terry, there's a Publix. There's a Publix on Bonita Beach Road on 41. There's a Publix also on Bonita Beach Road and Interstate 75. Bringing the grand total of Publixes to at least 3, right? Yeah,
Yes.
something like that. Not bad. Off of Terry Road are a bunch of houses that have canals in the back. You probably know some elderly person that lives in here somewhere. Most of the properties along Terry are, for the most part, very nice. They have canals, water access, and there's just houses that belong to old people who haven't died yet. As you get closer to the middle school and to Old 41, you have a few more rental properties, which belong to Latinos, which haven't been deported yet. Between the Latinos being deported and the old people dying, one could wonder who will live in Bonita Springs in the next 5 to 10 years. Probably nobody. Probably nobody. Maybe the thousands of children the Latinos have had. The city's about 30% Latino, and will probably be about 3,000% Latino at the rate we're going, with the white population dying from old age, golf cart accidents, and the occasional Viagra overdose. I'm pretty sure that this city's Latino population will continue to grow outside of the areas that are nice. Here's the middle school. There's a middle school, which is okay. It's not like the greatest school in the world. Estero recently decided to build a school in Bonita Springs. So there's a new school in Bonita Springs for high school students. And that way the kids in Estero could have their school separate, because, you know, if you got kids that go to Estero schools, you wouldn't want them going to school with these Bonita children. Ugh, of course not. All right, guys, I'm just being a jerk. For the most part, everybody in Bonita Springs gets along pretty well. You have affluent, older people from up north, and you have a lot of people that mow their lawns, and everybody really gets along here. And I can't emphasize that enough. Even though there's an economical divide here between the two people, the two main groups, it's nonetheless really doesn't feel like it socially. It's a pretty neat city, and I think the people here get along really well. And I like Bonita Springs a lot. I've done a lot here. This place is like my second home to me. It's a really cool town with just a lot of just really hardworking people. I mean, this place, this is the engine that mows the lawns of South Roundabout here in the center of the old historic center, which I have no idea how it works. And most of the locals don't either, even though they've got more practice at it than I do. I think you just spin around aimlessly in circles until you hit somebody. I think that's kind of what roundabouts are supposed to do. For the most part, there's never a problem finding workers here in Bonita Springs. If you need somebody to help you around the yard or whatever the crap you need done, there's usually no issues finding someone to help. There's always a working hand in Bonita Springs. If you ever need a project done around the house or move some heavy furniture, there's always somebody willing to work. It's a town of very hard-working people. Recently, Bonita Springs has put some infrastructure into sidewalks and road safety, because there have been several misfortunate accidents. It's so wrong how we had to wait until something tragic happened several times before we actually decided to put these sidewalks in. They also put in some beautiful palm trees. You know, I think compared to other places in the United States, Bonita Springs they're really doing a good job in investing into the poor communities. Like, this is off Bonita Drive. This is definitely not an affluent area, but as you can see, the city planted palm trees. They redid the sidewalks, and the city's really investing into the poor communities. And the historic town center, which is adjacent to the poor communities and Hispanic communities, has had a lot of improvements and investments, which goes to show that the city council here, they're really doing a good job. Whoever's in charge of all these projects, they're not discriminating the poor communities in too many ways, like other places. All right, so now we're on Old 41 heading south, and we're gonna take a drive through the historic core of the city. This is the north side of it, and here is the heart of the Hispanic community. These are the people that keep Southwest Florida mowed, your pool clean, and your house swept when you don't want to do it. The workforce of Southwest Florida. Who would plant the trees and build the houses down here if it's not the working class? Here we're passing Maria's Mexican restaurant. I would definitely recommend it. It's a great Mexican restaurant. Their food is unique and authentic. Right next to Everglades Wonder Gardens, which is definitely worth a visit from what I hear. I've never gone to it, even though I'm a local. I guess it's more of a tourist trap. But I hear it's amazing and probably worth checking out. We're now crossing the Imperial River here. The Imperial River is a beautiful little river right here. You can take a good look at it right there. Gorgeous little river. We're coming up on Benson's grocery store right here on the left. And there's been some historic buildings here on the right that have been turned into businesses. There's lots of murals. I mean, this city's got tropical beachy vibes all over it. It's a beautiful little town with so much old Florida. There's also the park right here. There's also the park right here where they have outdoor concerts. So great stuff going on in general. Historic buildings that have been remodeled. The city's got some neat stuff.
But I understand it.
You don't understand nothing, women. What do you understand about understanding?
Life.
Life itself, women.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a beautiful little park right here. So if you're thinking about Florida and you want old Florida affordability, just kidding, there's no affordability left here anymore. But you want those old Florida vibes, this is definitely a city to look into. These trees here have a beautiful red flower during a particular time of the year. Of course, right now is not that time. For the most part, the historic town center has been redone beautifully with historic buildings. They've brought in these little cabins, they've moved old buildings, and they've given it like a real old Florida feel. I think Bonita Springs has been redone really well. One of the nicest downtown redevelopment programs I have seen in the state of Florida, right here in Bonita. There's Benson's grocery store, which has a great selection of natural fruit juices and drinks from Central America. I definitely recommend the historic Hotel Plaza. All this makes this one of the nicest. I mean, they really went in and the entire historic town center redid it, leaving this area looking incredible. I mean, they did a great job. The place is totally walkable. It's integrated nicely into the neighborhoods with sidewalks and passages, so the people that live in the surrounding neighborhoods can really just get in here and enjoy all of this great stuff. They got these little cottages, and each one of these is like a store, and during certain times of the year they do little arts and crafts stores themselves and stuff like that. Bonita Springs has really done a great job at making this historic town center kind of feel right. Overall, it's a great community. Probably one of the best places you can live in Florida. Home prices are just not affordable. Here by the Imperial River, you can commonly see manatees. During a time of the year when the rain starts, you can catch snook and bass in the same water. So if you enjoy fishing, you really can't go wrong with the Imperial River. As you can hear, Everglades Wonder Gardens on the other side, all types of jungle noises. It really gives the city an incredible vibe. Today is Sunday, and for the most part, because it's so hot and humid, nobody's out right now. But believe me, you get to the evening time here, cools down a little bit more, all types of activity. Bonita Springs has a lot of like people on bicycles back and forth. It's really, really lots of life here. Lots of younger people that have come here to make a future for themselves, work and save, and get lost between the tropical plants and the historic buildings. Incredible old Florida vibes here. Across the street, there's these really tall coconut trees. Used to be a mobile home park, and that mobile home park is no longer there. but they left some of the more mature plants. It's now kind of like a city park at some point. I believe it's going to be some type of park. They've done a really great job here at just making sure that everything's well integrated as far as parks, neighborhoods, roads, sidewalks, to make it walkable, make it feel safe. And it's really done a lot for the city. I think Bonita Springs is a great place to invest if you want that small town feel in the middle of a large metropolitan area. The city has kept its character, it's kept its vibes, it's got great communities within the community. Not really much bad stuff I can say about Bonita Springs. Beyond any doubt, traffic is really one of the things that are bad, and if you're near the river, flooding after a hurricane can be a prolonged event. I'm talking about weeks on end. So if you like walking or biking, old Florida vibes, small Hispanic stores, somebody coming like from California would love this place, because you have just a nice, you got little ice cream shops. You got great little, the ice cream shop here is incredible. Great little ice cream shops, great little historic buildings and districts. There's a lot that makes Bonita Springs a really attractive place to live. And I would definitely put it on your list. Probably the two biggest downsides of Bonita Springs are going to be the costs, for one, and the traffic during the winter, two. Those are probably the two biggest drawbacks of Bonita Springs. Majestic royal palm trees. Bonita Springs used to have a pretty large Mexican population. Currently, it's mostly Guatemalan. There's also a lot of Canadians here. But I want to do it, man. Dang it. Water feels good. Ooh, it does. It feels great for a swim. Come on, man. Let me swim. Well, you haven't seen Bonita Springs until you see the beaches. That's really what makes this place special. So let's ride on down towards the beaches. There's some great communities east of 75 if you want to be in a gated community. A lot of those new communities east of 75 are really awesome. Of course, the price tags are going to push you, from the upper 300s right now all the way into the million. But if you can afford that, you want to be in a really nice gated community, there's great stuff. Some of those communities have a lot of amenities. By far not cheap. Up ahead, you can see the new library. Right behind the police station is the new library they put in. So there's good investment into the community. Lots of stuff's been done. Once again, we're heading south along Old 41 underneath some beautiful palm trees, new sidewalks, beautiful, beautiful trees. There's a giant banyan tree here to the left of us. There's a little ice cream store right here that is definitely a must within Bonita, especially in the summer. This little ice cream store right here is called For Heaven's Sakes. You want to go there? You want to go?
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's do it. It's definitely a must visit here in Bonita Springs. This little ice cream store right here. Their ice cream is just over the top. And on a hot summer day in Florida, what could be better than a local ice cream store that's awesome? Parking is sometimes somewhat of an issue. Let's get in here real quick. Especially if you got a large vehicle. When the thermostat's into the 3 digits, you know you gotta get some ice cream. Mango milkshake. All right, so there's a beautiful mural here that depicts the history of Bonita Springs, stage by stage. So initially, this was the heart of the Calusa Indian Empire. They were fishermen. They relied heavily on the tides. As you can see here between the mangroves, they would build their little dams to catch their fish. And this is exactly how the Calusa Indians survived. You can see an osprey with a spotted sea trout. Bonita Springs was originally called Survey because, well, they were just surveying the area. A gentleman from Alabama came with African American slaves, and they tried to start some type of pineapple and other types of banana and other types of farming that was very prosperous in Cuba. However, It failed in Bonita Springs. So this mural depicts the gentleman from Alabama with his African-American slaves in that era of the 1850s to 1900s, and their failed efforts to grow pineapples and bananas here in Bonita Springs, when at the time it was called just simply Survey. Later on, citrus and cattle and honey, and also a lot of lumber, all these types of things, strawberry, honey, all that. You can see a beautiful orange blossom here. All that became part of the Bonita Springs of the early 1900s. Eventually, logging and trains with the Atlantic coastline coming into Bonita Springs became another great part of the economy. Then was the era of tourism. As you can see here, the Shangri-La Hotel, which is right across the street from us. Tourism, vehicles changing everything. You can see a beautiful snook right here. Fishing, tourism, and the automobile begin to change Bonita Springs, and tourism becomes a great part of that. And now, the stage we're in now, where fishing and ecological issues, the endangered Florida panther at the end, the American alligator, people fishing from a boat, and of course, seashell. Now, the importance of the seashell is that Bonita Springs was originally the site of the shell factory, which is now somewhere around Fort Myers or Sanibel. I can't remember. I think it's in North Fort Myers. But they were originally here in Bonita Springs. With Hurricane Donna, there were so many damages that they had to move it out of Bonita Springs to a place that they thought at the time would be safer from hurricanes. And that in itself, in this mural, is the entire history of Bonita Springs. Well, these are new apartments that they recently built. I can't believe that the roofs are already black. They just built these things. I think the white roof was kind of a mistake here if they're not going to pressure wash it. Every once in a while you see a mistake in home construction projects, and this was definitely one. Now, this used to be an empty lot, which when I was a kid, I used to run through this empty lot and go back by the creek. I mean, beautiful places. And there's actually rumors of stuff going back to the time of the Native Americans in this little river. There were supposed to be artifacts from that era back in there that you could find. So as a kid, I would go back there with a metal detector and look for little stones and stuff and go by the creek, hoping to one day find a treasure, which we never did. But then they tore it down and built these apartments that look like crap. And now a bunch of people live here with white roofs that are turning black, even though they just built it. Because the architects that they hired to build this crap, well, they obviously didn't really think this through very well, did they? And now there's a bunch of birds on the roof. Well, they had the notion to put right here towards Old 41 some type of businesses that also incorporate the same design as those apartments, which they're still available for lease, even though it's by now there should have been something put in there. How about a Cuban restaurant? Motherlode Antique Store right here. I definitely recommend you check her out. One of the sweetest people you're ever going to meet in Bonita Springs. And her store is always featuring interesting stuff. I definitely recommend that store. Of course, the iconic taco hat building. I guess it was meant to be a taco store back in the day. And, well, it was kind of meant to look like a taco stand. Now it's a trackside. Now they sell donuts, I think, even though it's, well, quite frankly, this doesn't really look like that. Well, when you turn into Bonita Beach Road, there's a bunch of shady car dealerships here. And the sign that says Fort Myers Beach 16 miles. So now we're heading back towards the beach. We were waiting for the day to kind of advance a little bit. We didn't want to find ourselves going to the beach in the day's heat. You kind of want to wait till right about now where it starts to cool down a little bit. And then you can head back towards the beach. So let's do that. Facing the beach, there's beach parking spots right here as well, which we will enjoy in the brief future. But yes, this is kind of like the mansion row of Bonita Springs. As you can see, construction is an ever-going process here, and every time they build a new one, it's bigger and bigger and better than the last one. It never quite ends. On the right is McLaughlin. It's got canals on both sides, so it's a street that has a lot of fancy stuff going on. You can see here, these are quite the homes. Some of these homes are so massive, you wonder if they're actually single-family homes or multiple units. They are, in fact, single-family homes that are friggin' huge, bro. Those are some of the most... look at the height of that one. What's that, a 5-story? Yeah, it's like every new home that goes up has an extra story higher than the next one. So, you know, they just keep building bigger and better. The next guy, I don't know how big these guys are going to get with these houses, but it's like a show to see who can build the biggest beachside home. I've worked in these houses, and what's redundantly clear about this area, that these are some of the most self-centered, arrogant people that I have ever met in this vicinity right here, this little area. There's a few exceptions. I've worked for one guy in this area that would always give me $100 tip. Hooray for that guy, man. Great work. That's the way you should treat your employees who break their backs for your comfort. But redundantly, most people that I've met in this area were just all into themselves. They suppose because they've encountered wealth that perhaps they don't need anything from anybody in society. Everything that they'll ever need is in their bank account. They don't need anything from anyone else. Which, yeah, I wish I had enough money to think like that myself. Alright, here's the first bridge, Big Hickory Pass. This little bridge here, I've never had any great luck fishing here other than sheephead and an occasional redfish. Usually there's a lot of cars here. You can park here on the left side and put your canoe or kayak into the water, or your whole boat if you're cheap enough. Look at that guy right there. So here's one of the larger bridges. This is a great fishing spot right here for a lot of folks. To me, it's either really hot or really crappy. I check it out, and if I see that it looks good, the water's clear. It's somewhat clear today on this side. Not perfectly clear, but it's good enough for fishing. Might be a good day for fishing today. It's either a great fishing spot or a really crappy fishing spot, depending simply on the day. And that's really all it comes down to. There's great fishing spots and there's horrible fishing spots. It all has to do with the specific day and the tides and all the other crap that goes into it. It used to be there'd be 1 or 2 cars parked here back in the day. Now, usually, as you can see, lots of cars, lots of people to contend with. Used to not be like that though. And this car's parked all the way up to here at this point. Alright, so there's a boat ramp here. There's a lot of boats out in the water, so there's trucks and trailers as far as the eye can see. Tide's pretty low today. Really, there isn't anything amazing here. It's just kind of, well, low tide. Water's not too clear. It's pretty shallow going all the way out. There's a little pass right through there. Yes, Estero Bay, Mount Key, way in that direction over there. I think in the next few weeks we're going to be trading in the Yukon. We're going to drive from here to Naples Park. So we're heading southbound along the coast. Just to give you guys an idea of what the coast looks like here. We're going to go for a coastal drive. A pedestrian crossing here on Bonita Beach. You have to make sure that you actually stop for pedestrians if they're crossing. Also, it's 35 miles per hour over the bridge. Make sure that you do not go faster than 35 miles per hour over the bridge because there's people fishing on the bridge. I don't know if we're gonna get parking here. This person's kind of stalled out. There we go, come on. So this is Bonita Beach. I don't know if we're able to get in or not. I guess I could briefly just hop out and show you guys the beach, since it looks like finding a parking spot here is going to be almost impossible. Let's find out. I guess I could just run out real quick and show you guys the beach. But please, 35 miles per hour on the bridges. Keep in mind there are people fishing, and when you drive faster than that, it can really startle them. and it's quite the drop down. All right, guys, so here we are on Bonita Beach. We're gonna have to be real quick because I couldn't find a parking spot, so I'm just kind of blocking the path. The water's dirty today, so it's nothing too special. The water's kind of dirty today. The water's kind of dirty today. Nothing special today. The water's kind of dirty. Pelicans are flying. All right, guys. So there it is, Bonita Beach, and we're gonna roll up out of here since we can't get a parking spot today. And this is the summer. Couldn't get a parking spot. But yes, you can hear reggaeton playing in the background. Cubans are becoming like a massive percentage of the population here. Cubans everywhere. Some people don't like it, but all the people from Miami that got money are starting to move over here. So it's starting to be a lot of Cubans from Miami with money buying real estate over here, and they're moving in. There's days when the water just isn't all that clear and the beaches are packed. It's the weekend, so expected. But as you can tell, there's people playing reggaeton loud on the beach. It's kind of become part of Southwest Florida beaches. I like it. I don't mind it. I think it just adds to the vibe. I think anybody that complains about it, they got to stick up something, and they really don't understand. They really kind of don't understand beach culture. They're from places where people go to the beach to sit down. This is freaking Florida. So, like it or not, that's what we done do. So that's what's up. Couldn't get a parking spot, which is okay with me. Not so okay for you guys, because I wanted to show you guys some cool shots of the beach, but it's kind of limited today. There it is, Bonita Beach, packed with people from out of state and out of county, really. Seems like when they shut down the Miami beaches, a lot of people from Miami started to come to, when the lockdowns and all that. This guy's got like, if it's the same dude that used to live there, he's got like 3 or 4 luxury cars in that garage. So they came over here when the lockdowns, they started to come from Miami to here because our beaches were open and theirs were closed. So all the people from Miami, they heard that the beaches over here were pretty chill and pretty relaxed, so they came over here, and now our beaches are wild as crap because all the people from Miami come over here. So little by little, I think Southwest Florida is going to become more Hispanic than it is. It's probably 20 to 30% Hispanic now, and I think it's probably going to end up being about 60% Hispanic. That's what the calculations are showing, as Latinos are being pushed out of other places, kind of like we were. We moved to Alabama and they didn't like us there because of who we were, so we're coming back. I think a lot of Latinos are moving back to Florida from other places, and eventually Florida is going to be more Latino than ever. It's a place that's changing, and people with money from New York and from Miami are really buying up everything, kind of leaving everybody else scrambling for housing. It's happening all over, but it's kind of a thing here. Well, there it is. That's Bonita Springs, an awesome city. I know a lot of you guys have memories in Bonita Springs, so this video should be special to a lot of people. Bonita Springs is a special place to me. I've known many people here over the years. Some of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life have been here. And I'm sure if you're from Bonita Springs or lived here at some point in your life, you miss it. I've had several people tell me they used to live in Bonita Springs and they got outpriced and they just couldn't afford to make a living here. A lot of people want to be here, they just can't afford to do it. And that's a story for a lot of people. I want to be here, I tell you that much. But again, it's just at what cost? Not everybody can do it. And those who can do it, I hope that you enjoy it. And just, just be thankful that you're able to be in a place like this. Because for a lot of people, it's not a possibility. There it is. Checking out from Bonita Springs City.